Hi everyone, my name is Beth and welcome back to Every Day is Spooktober! Woo! I'm cutting that out. I'm trying to get into that Halloween mood, although like the weather and like, I don't know, just, you know, the vibe and like the environment, like it has to be spooky, like fall, like kind of chilly vibes, like yeah, I don't know. I'm not feeling Halloween yet, but I'm trying to get into the mood. Let's get into this video. Basically, I watched a film last night and I hated it. And that film was Wolf Creek. The scariest film of all the scariest film of the year. I don't think so. Okay, all I'm gonna say is, this film has a 6.2 out of 10 on IMDb, and I highly disagree with that score, because it doesn't deserve that. Unfortunately, I did not like it, and I thought it was a very poor film, and I was very disappointed. My first issue with it, just a little backstory, I did watch the second Wolf Creek, like, ages ago, and I thought it was alright, which is why I bought the film, and I thought, you know, if it follows the same, you know, plot of the film and everything like that, like, yeah, I'd be interested to watch it. It's a fun watch. It's, you know, it's obviously about, you know, a guy in the outback that kills travellers and tortures them, etc. So, you know, it's a pretty easy watch. It doesn't take itself too seriously. However, with the first one, first off, the characters of the film were lacking so much. I think the acting was fine, from them all, but there was no backstory, there was no understanding of who these people were. It felt like when the film started, we had like jumped into like the middle of a conversation or the middle of somebody doing something, and we don't know what's happened before, we don't know the past, we only sort of know what's going on currently. Ben, Liz and Christy, you know, this film is based around them. However, Liz and Christy, the two girls, they're British, and then Ben is Australian. My first sort of question about this is, how do these people know each other? Who are they to each other? Why are they travelling together? There wasn't a ton of backstory about how they met or their relationship or what had happened before, which kind of threw me off a bit, because I was like, who are these people that we're now focusing on? There wasn't enough character development on any of them. When the girls die at the end, or when these people are being captured, when they're being tortured, I don't care. And the reason I don't care is because there's no emotional connection from the audience to the actor to be like, oh, I feel so bad for them. I don't know who they are. Nothing tying us to, you know, to want to like them or want to care about them. So that was my first issue, is it was really underdeveloped, and the sort of first half of the film was super slow. You know, and it wasn't even like they were trying to develop these characters. It was like, we're just following them on a road trip. Maybe I missed it and I've missed some bits out, but from what I remember seeing from last night, there wasn't much to kind of go off of these people, what they're trying to get out of this road trip, when they go home, how long they've been travelling for. Like, so many questions that we just never find out. The same goes for Mick, the guy who kills them and captures them. You know, we don't know a ton about him either. We never really get any sort of reasoning as to why he captures all these people, as we do find out later in the film that he's captured so many families, so many different people that end up at the exact same spot that the group in this film ended up at, and he goes to help them and then ends up killing them, and he's got all their stuff in his house and video cameras and all this stuff, and obviously we find that out. And I think for me, that was like a good part of the film, because we were getting some backstory, and I thought, here we go. It wasn't a lot of backstory though, and that was pretty much all we got. I think majority of the first half of the film could have been improved by focusing more on these guys' backstories or learning about them through conversation with each other. Because I'm still confused to this day who these people are and why they have connections with each other. Why are some of them British? Why are some of them Australian? What's going on? Towards the end of the film, that's when everything sort of starts kicking off. And of course it's going to happen. The first half of the film, nothing is going to happen, there's not going to be much going on. But anyway, we meet Mick, and all I can say is I don't particularly like him as the villain. I don't think he plays the best sort of serial killer guy. I don't know, like he just didn't come across like someone could do that, and it wasn't like his accent was throwing me off because he's got a really thick Australian accent, but I don't know, he performed in like a weird way, not like a serial killer type of way, if you understand what I mean. I think that it was a bit cringy at times, like some of the ways he was talking to them, all the things he was saying, I just didn't quite, I couldn't grasp on the fact that I was like, yeah, this guy's crazy, he's gonna kill them, this guy's fun, like there was nothing about him that I was like, yeah, like, I like him, or oh, I hate him. There was no emotion about him, you know what I mean? I didn't feel anything about him, I just thought, he's just this weird guy that just kills people, I guess. I thought overall the kills and sort of the torturing was pretty minor. Maybe people will disagree with me, but this film was made in 2003, and I just thought the gore was really basic. Like, for example, Saw was made in 2003, and the gore in that is just, you know, top tier. It's really bloody and it's really gory, and that's what I was expecting from this. But unfortunately it wasn't that crazy, it wasn't that intense. You know, maybe that's just sort of my tolerance for it, but I didn't think it was that crazy in terms of, like, bloody. It didn't make me really feel things, and then again, I think that might have been tied into the fact that I was like, I don't really care that these people are dying, because, like, there's no reason to. I remember the second one being slightly worse, but this one just didn't have the same effect, unfortunately, for me. At the end of the film, both Liz and Christy, they die, and, you know, for them, it takes Mick a few tries to actually kill him. And, you know, they're going back and forth from Mick's home to get the car and then to get back out and then do this and escape and whatever. They're, like, running back and forth and trying multiple times to escape Mick. And then we've got Ben, who, number one, wakes up last out of both girls, which I don't understand how that works. Why is he the last person to wake up when they're not all drinking the same stuff that Mick drugged them with, the water? And then also, why did Ben just walk out of Mick's home as Mick's on his way back and just pass out near his house in the middle of the outback? Someone finds him and he survives. What's that about? That was so dumb. The way it ended was so abrupt. You know, there was not even any, like, revenge after, like, Ben survived and he went to court and then they could never find Mick and the two girls that went missing, and, like, this whole story, they couldn't find any evidence about it, so they essentially dropped the case. That doesn't make any sense. That doesn't make any sense with the story. It just ends like that. Ben gets away, you know, he's living life, two girls are dead, whatever. It was just so abrupt and just, it didn't close off the story in any way, it didn't wrap anything up, it just seemed like it was very loose ends. And I do think it's funny that, like Ben low-key did the two girls dirty. Like, Ben got out of the trap that he was in and just left. He didn't even go check to see where the girls were, to see how the girls were doing, if they're okay. He just left, and I thought that was so funny because I'm like, he really doesn't care. And obviously, like, at the beginning of the film, we understand that they obviously don't know each other, they've just sort of met, which I can understand, it's like every man for themselves. But then again, when the two girls tried to escape, they didn't go back for Ben, so vice versa. I thought that was kind of funny, because they were just like, bye, I'm off. Overall, if I had to give this film a rating, it would have to be a 4 out of 10. And that may be shocking for some people, but unfortunately, it was lacking so many things. The story didn't wrap itself up. You know, there was a lot of things that were just very slow, and the characters weren't super engaging or gripping. I didn't care about when they were dying. It just wasn't a very strong film for me, and I don't think I would recommend it or watch it again. Hope you guys enjoyed it though, and I will see you guys on the next video.